So let's talk about things that can actually pull you back and cost you more. Because once developers lose trust in automation, it is really hard or impossible to get it back. Chances are they don't have trust in the automation to begin with, if you're like me. So failing tests, tests that you tolerate failure. Flaky tests where sometimes it'll pass, sometimes it'll fail. Poorly documented tests where nobody knows what's actually doing. Tests that haven't been looked at, in a year, a certain amount of time, something like that. Tests that can't fail. Tests that can't fail. You ever had this before? Has anyone had this before? I got an email from my boss once at Retail Me Not who was like, hey, Marcus, only 37 tests passed in that out of 800 in the last build we ran. And I was like, yeah, we're having some environmental, some instability issues. He's like, if the site is down, how did 37 tests pass? Valid. So here's the thing. If you have a test that's failing, you're not fixing it. You don't know why it's failing. You tolerate its failure. You don't understand its state. You don't know what it's testing. You don't even know if so a test should only pass if it can pass. It should only fail if it can't pass, right? That's a simple statement, but it's true. If you have all these conditions, not only are you getting no return on your investment, but you have the impression that you have coverage where you don't. So it's a negative value. You are misrepresenting to management the risk profile of your test automation and the software you're shipping. So you can't have ROI when these things are happening. Now, there should be a tolerance for failure because the product changes, systems are flaky, and life happens, right? But that tolerance should not exceed your ability to address it, if that makes sense. If you have someone whose job is to fix automated tests in the morning for 2 hours, and there are more failures than they can address in that 2 hours, then there's a problem. Because tests are going to fail. That's what they're designed to do. Tests that always pass, they're probably valuable, but you should make sure you're keeping up with whether or not they're still relevant. So these are just wasted times. Not all passing tests add value. If you have 800 tests and they're 400 of them, or they're just sort of mulching over the same thing over and over and over again, they're not adding value. They're just taking time. Selenium tests are super expensive in terms of test automation. A unit test can run at about 1,000th of a second. Selenium tests, depending on factors, can be between 10 and 45 seconds if you're doing it right. They could be up to 10 minutes if you're ignoring all of our advice. And test results need to be analyzed. Without analysis, you have zero ROI. You don't even know what you're doing. If you have these things going on, it's not entirely likely that you're contributing the value that you think you are. If these things are going on, your tests are worthless.